they're a startup based called Licious, one of India's largest selling meat and fish delivery brand, talks to NDTV in this special segment on how it saw a massive growth in sales despite a lockdown in 2020, the farm to fork model and the future of meat and fish industry in India.
A first of a kind in India, a meat brand app, Licious, a Bangalore-based app, is here to tell us their story, their lockdown story, how they saw a spike in sales during the lockdown months and in the ongoing pandemic, the future of meat industry in India. Joining us right now are the founders.
Every time I look at this space, and when Abhay spoke to me in 2015, this is such a massive opportunity, right? 3.5-4 lakh crore worth meat gets consumed in India. There is nothing called branded. You don't consume any other thing branded in India, unbranded in India. You consume a branded atta, branded dahi, branded milk, branded pani, everything. But meat has been left out, as a category which is hidden in a black color polythene. There is no cold chain. 90% of Indian cold chain is consumed by potatoes. So that is a reality, right? Meat has at any point of time after slaughter has to be in a 0 to 4 degrees environment. So when Licious came in, Licious actually first time defined a supply chain, which meat has to go through, how tenderization of meat happens, how aging of meat happens, how packing of meat happens, what is the environment, how, muscle gets, rigor mortis goes. So all those things, somebody had to write that code, I say it. And that is what is the work we have been doing last 5 years.
When the world was figuring out how to operate, I think in the first month there was a lot of panic within people. People were running away, going back to their hometowns. Yeah. And I remember we took a call of housing more than 700 people in hotels across all our processing centers, because we said that, look, there's no way that the virus can enter our food processing facilities, right? Because this is the food business, right? And it's highly dependent on food safety. So such audacious calls, we took during COVID times. Every year we grow by 300% CAGR, and we grow at a 9% CMGR. So you can quantify it.
We do 1 million orders a month now. Yeah. We must be doing around 200,000 orders in last January. 3 lakh crore consumption and growing at 18% CAGR, and grocery in India is growing at 8% CAGR. See, India, you have to understand, India is a protein deficient nation. 80% of us are actually protein deficient. I think generally people are not aware about India as a meat story. We don't even know, we consume this kind of meat. We think India is a vegetarian country, right? But, numbers doesn't say that. Numbers say very different. 72% of Indians consume meat. This is the government data, not my data. The 3 lakh crore of consumption. India has some phenomenal achievements in terms of supply side. We are, you will know, we are the world's second largest fish exporter. We are the world's third largest poultry producer. We are the world's third largest egg producer. Right? So much of work happens in the supply chain side.
Vivek and I discovered, on day one is here is an opportunity to do what Amul did to milk and dairy, in this category, right? And what does that mean? That means that not only will you create a lot of consumer-facing value, you will uplift the standards in the ecosystem to generate continuous value, right?
Generally, ESOPs in other companies, what me and Abhay and I have seen that happening in 10 years at Helion. This is always over-indexed at the management, right? This distribution doesn't, play like a waterfall going to the bottom most, right? So that is what me and Abhay have been thinking for last few years, that how do we do this? And finally, we have created a plan where any delivery boy, we call it the delivery hero, meat technician, meat handler, who works with Licious for slightly longer term, their accumulation of stock starts happening in the back end. Right, and when they exit with the company, either they can choose to stay invested or they can take cash. Let's look at very simple math, right? This is a 3 lakh crore market growing at 18% CAGR. If I just imagine 5 years out, this will be at least an $80 billion market. Out of $80 billion market, even if 15-20% gets organized, we are talking about $15-17 billion of market getting organized. Licious being sitting on the top of that pyramid on defining the quality and defining the levers. We are, until we shoot in our own foot, we are just, powered enough to capture that largest share, right? And a true global meat brand can be born out of India.
Last thought on the budget. What did you think about it? It had a few highlights for the startup ecosystem. Your thoughts on the budget?
I think very good budget. I was thinking a new tax will come in name of COVID. Yeah, I think government has done some phenomenal work of not introducing any such stuff. Very growth focused, very smart thinking. I think next 5 years going to be very interesting.
What are your thoughts on the budget?
I agree with him.
All right. So those were the thoughts of the founders of the Licious, a meat brand, first of a kind in India, with some massive success that they saw in 2020, and of course the road ahead, looking at something that can go offline and can be augmented, and of course looking at the future of the meat industry overall in the country. With camera person Kumar in Bangalore, Shanakshi Chakravarti for NDTV.